Welcome to Channel 2S everyone, I'm your host Second Soundwave, and today we're going to be looking at the Reborn 100 Efreet Custom. Now the Efreet Custom is the primary antagonist mobile suit from Mobile Suit Gundam, the Blue Destiny, and I have already talked about the box art on this kit so many times. I've said many times that I love everything about it, so we're not going to dwell on this for too much longer. I'm also not going to talk too much about the sides of the box because there's no translation on this like on the Bawu, so there's really not much of anything to see here, just some pictures we've already seen many times in Gunpla News, and also a text-free version of the art on the front of the box. That actually looks kind of cool. Wish we could get that as a poster. So with everything out of the box, it looks like the kit has 13 runners in total. I also want to make special mention of the F runner because they actually molded the entirety of his shoulder pads as one single piece on here. So as you can see, this is all just one continuous piece. There's going to be no seam line going down the middle of this. The G1 runner is also pretty cool because it's a sort of floppy rubbery plastic, and this is going to be used for the hoses on the torso and on the head. So we're going to have to see how that works out. And just like with the Bawu and the Jump Sniper 2, I do really like the decals that they have for these. They are just the normal peel-and-place decals, but I just think that the fonts they've chosen for some of these newer marking sheets are actually really cool looking. And best of all, the foil stickers are basically non-existent. You just got a few little ones here for the sensors, and that is it. And the manual I'm not going to really go over since the front of it pretty much is just the front of the box. The back's just got those same pictures we saw on the side of the box. And there's actually no color pages of any kind inside, it's just build instructions, so we're just going to jump right ahead to the completed kit. So the Efreet Custom is complete, and I have to say, this is one awesome kit. Now I already kind of knew I was going to love this model just because I'd seen a few reviews of it already, I'd seen the design, and I basically fell in love with it from the moment I saw it. And I have to say, Bandai, you guys did an absolutely exceptional job of bringing this design to life. The detail on this kit is absolutely incredible. There's not a single inch of armor on this kit that isn't just covered in panel lines. Just like with the Bawu, I really recommend that you panel line this kit, and I'm going to be doing the same to mine as soon as I finish this video. The color separation on some parts of this kit, like the front of the missile pods, and the sides of the legs, and the feet, and all the other vents is really awesome. And the coolest part of the color separation has to be that awesome translucent pink piece they give you for the mono eye. You do technically get a sticker you're supposed to put over it instead, but that looks incredibly stupid, so I left it off. Now this is a Reborn 100, not a master grade, so the color separation isn't perfect. They did neglect to color in the back sections of the missile pods, and contrary to what you'd expect to see on a master grade, the insides of the thrusters are not colored. But honestly, those are really minor issues, and when it comes to visuals, as a whole, this guy is a pretty big win. So for articulation, the Efreet can look up to here, down to here, you can rotate the head all the way around, and if you pull a little black part off the head, you can access a little switch that lets you move that awesome pink mono eye around inside his visor, which can give you a pretty cool effect. The holsters on his back can move forwards and backwards. The shoulder pads are mounted to the arm on a ball joint, and that gives them a lot of movement. The shoulder itself comes out to here. You can swing his shoulder forwards thanks to this nice little joint built into the torso. And of course, you can rotate his arm all the way around, bicep swivel below the shoulder, double jointed elbow bend, all the usual wrist stuff. And then we come to the torso. And the torso on this kit kind of makes me mad. Because as you might recall, I mentioned as I was taking the parts for this kit out of the box, that these hoses are a rubbery plastic. However, they're not rubbery enough. In reality, you can only get about this much, and when you try to move it, it's not at all uncommon for the hoses to kind of struggle against you, and they will often push the torso back into a neutral position. As you can see, I've removed this backpack section to release the hoses from the torso, and as you can see, while he still doesn't have a huge amount of side-to-side rotation, he does have some nice tilting, he's got some nice forwards, he's got some nice backwards. There's actually a really nice little joint array in here. The problem is, these hoses don't play nice with that joint. But anyways, moving downwards from there, the front skirts move out to here. The back skirt also moves out very far. The side skirts are on ball joints that allow them to kind of flex forwards and backwards, and they also have a little bit of upwards movement, but because of those hoses, again, those damn hoses causing all the problems, they can't move out very much at all. Fortunately though, the hips do have a way around that we're going to get into later, but for now we're just going to look at the pretty good forwards to back spread that this kit has. And the outward spread, which is actually being limited by the joints, not the skirts. And as we've come to expect with the Re-100 kits, there is a swing forward hip joint in here that allows you to slide the hip both down and forwards. This increases rotation to the front, the back, and not so much to the sides. It's pretty much just there so you can get him into a good kneeling pose. Speaking of kneeling, this guy's knees have a kind of unimpressive 90-degree bend, although you can take these sections off, and once the side thrusters are off, you do actually get a tiny bit more knee movement. Oh, and by the way, you do also get a pair of little plugs that can go into the holes that are left when you take off the booster units. So if you want to display this kit without the extra custom boosters, you can actually do that. And before we go too far down the leg, we absolutely mustn't forget about the thigh rotation. And now we've made our way down to the feet, and the feet on this kit are really interesting because there's a few different joints here. First of all, there is a bit of a rotation so you can get some side to side. You can also get some nice forwards and backwards movement. There is a toe bend here as well, and an alright level of ankle tilt. However, what makes the ankles of this kit really special and quite cool is that you can actually take the whole foot and slide it side to side inside the leg. The joint stem that attaches it to the leg is actually on a little sliding track, so if you want to have the kit standing neutrally, you put it in the center of the track so that the foot's in the center of his leg. However, if you need a bit more ankle tilt, you can slide that joint all the way to the outside of the leg, and now you have a much deeper ankle bend than you did before. You could also slide the foot to the inside of his leg, but that's kinda useless. Also, the missile pods can spin. So overall, the articulation on the Efreet Custom is okay. I think it could have been better in some spots. I am really disappointed with how those hoses pretty much kill all his torso movement. Although it is worth remembering that the articulation of this guy is not all bad, as he does have those very cool ankles. Although even with those great ankles, I still find myself not enjoying the posing of this kit very much at all. It's still a great kit to look at, it's just not that fun to handle. Now the Efreet Custom doesn't really come with a lot of accessories. The first ones we're going to look at are this pair of alternate hands, and I don't really like them that much. Why do I not like these hands? Well, it's because they're not really alternate hands. I kind of see what they're going for here. They wanted to make it look like he has his hand, balled up into a fist, but the problem is his fingers aren't really wrapped that tightly. In fact, it kind of just looks like his holding hand with the middle part filled in. Not the best looking alternate hands I've ever seen. But if you're displaying this kit properly, you'll never even need to see that pair of alternate hands, because the best way to display this kit is with his absolutely awesome heat sabers. The heat sabers on this kit are molded in a mix of gray and translucent orange plastic, and they look absolutely awesome and make me immediately forget any problems that I had with this guy's hands before. The translucent orange blades in these swords are really big, they're really eye-catching, they do a great job setting this guy apart. The Efreet already has a really great, really distinctive looking body design, and these swords just take it to the next level. They also make him look like even more of a goof on steroids. And like I said, these are the only weapons you get with the kit, unless you want to count the missile pods on his legs and the teeny tiny little orange missiles in his arms. Final accessory for the Efreet Custom is this little stand adapter, and this just slides over his waist unit, and you can then plug it into an Action Base 1. The Efreet Custom does stay on this stand connector very securely, however it does look kind of silly in the air since it is a ground-type mobile suit. I mean, yeah, he does jump pretty high in the manga, but to me this looks like a design that should always have 2 feet firmly planted on the ground. So that is everything you need to know about the Re-100 Efreet Custom, and I do believe I am going to give this kit the thumbs up. The build on this kit was really fun, but it was also a very simple, quick build. This is not a kit that'll take you any time at all to build. It's barely more complicated than normal high grade. Now yes, this kit doesn't pose that well, but this isn't a kit you get for the articulation. This is a kit you get for the awesome. And this guy has plenty of awesome. And of course, snap building this kit is just the beginning. If you throw some panel lines on here, give it some of those decals, give it a top coat, it'll look even better. Or you could go the extra mile and completely repaint this in whatever colors you want, and it'll still look awesome. So as always, thank you very much for watching this review of the Re-100 Efreet Custom. If you want to see some more of the Efreet Custom in action, there's going to be a slideshow of action shots of this kit at the end of the video, so be sure you stick around for that. And also make sure you leave a like on this video, and also subscribe if you're new for more cool Gunpla content like this. So as always, I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.